Welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring the most pressing issues across the globe into focus. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung's state visit to 튀르키예 was the final stop in his Middle East and Africa tour, coming just after the G20 Summit. Framed as a push for strategic economic diplomacy, the visit focused on deepening ties in defense, infrastructure, and renewable energy. With Turkey hosting COP31 and positioning itself as a regional economic hub, the summit signaled growing alignment between Seoul and Ankara. Today, we take a closer look at the outcomes of the visit and where this evolving partnership may be headed next. For a deeper discussion on this, we're joined by Taha Saran, the Korea Country Director of the Investment and Finance Office of the Presidency of the Republic of Türkiye and founding board member of the Turkish Chamber of Commerce in Korea. A big welcome.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us tonight. So let's first begin with President Lee's visit to Turkey. This actually came at a very crucial moment of regional alignment. So from your perspective, why do you think Turkey was actually chosen as a key stop in Korea's broader Middle East Africa outreach?
I would like to start by saying that this visit comes at a very meaningful time. The last presidential bilateral visit from Korea to Turkey took place back in 2012 when then President Kim Mok-yeon visited Ankara. And after 13 years today, the President Lee Jae-myung visit carries a special significance because, as you mentioned, that there's a regional realignment taking place in our geography, and Turkey is right at the center of it. And I don't mean that only geographically, but also economically, politically, and strategically. Turkey today stands out with the largest economy, the second largest population, and one of the largest and strongest industrial and export bases in the entire region. And we have also become one of the most, if not the most, influential regional powers, shaping developments not only in our neighborhood, but also in the countries and areas such as the Ukraine, Syria, Gaza, Sudan, Libya, and beyond. So we can say that Turkey now plays a leading role, taking bold initiatives, mediating conflicts, and driving humanitarian efforts that truly have an impact on the ground. So economically, as I said, it offers one of the largest and fastest growing markets in the region, and also serves as a strategic hub for trade, for energy, for investments connecting Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. So I believe that President Lee and his administration clearly recognize the importance of Turkey and what it means for Korea and its wider engagement with the region as a whole. So that's exactly why I believe that Turkey was chosen as one of the key stops during this visit.
Thank you for giving us the background of why we think Turkey was actually prioritized in this tour. So now let's talk about outcomes, Mr. Saran. There were some key economic derivables, I believe, from the summit. What were the notable MOUs or agreements for you?
Yes, in fact, there were some concrete outcomes of this visit. There were 6 agreements that were signed, covering areas such as energy, infrastructure, and even social and veterans affairs. Among the more strategic ones, maybe to mention, was the Nuclear Energy Cooperation Agreement that was signed between Turkey's state nuclear company, TÜNAŞ, and its Korean counterpart, KEPCO. And another important one was about infrastructure cooperation with Turkey's Ministry of Transport and Korea's highway and overseas infrastructure agencies. And as I mentioned, there was also a memorandum signed between the social ministries of both countries in focusing on honoring the shared legacy of the Korean War, which is reinforcing the people-to-people bond that we have between the two brotherly nations. In addition, new collaboration was announced in other areas, such as renewable energy, biotech, some other advanced manufacturing, etc., which all show that we are now moving our cooperation from a more conventional, more traditional sectors into more innovation-driven industries.
Right. It does show a lot of shift from the more structured to a broader and long-term engagement between the two countries. Now, speaking of which, let's also delve into the defense cooperation sector. Defense exports and UAV collaboration reportedly have been discussed. How is Turkey actually envisioning its role as a partner to Korea in this high-tech defense ecosystems?
Turkey is now largely self-sufficient in defense industry. We now produce over 80% of our own systems domestically. And as you mentioned, especially in UAVs, we are now a global leader, accounting for almost 65% of all global drone exports, which makes us the number one in this product segment. And these are not just numbers, I have to say. These are combat-proven systems that have gained the trust of the whole world through real applications in the real ground. And this actually gives Turkey something that very few countries have, the real field experience that turns technology into credibility.
All right, then let's move on to our next question. Now turning to Turkey's local development plans, several major infrastructure projects are underway across Turkey, from logistic hubs to high-speed rail and smart urban networks as well. So, Mr. Saran, what kinds of opportunities could Korean companies realistically actually take from these kinds of developments?
Well, when we look at Turkey's infrastructure vision, it's one of the most ambitious in the whole region. And we are investing heavily in logistic corridors, energy routes, smart cities, highways, high railway systems, high-speed railway systems. And this is all to make Turkey one of the main gateways that's linking the West and the East. And of course, for Korean companies, this means a lot of opportunities, and our strengths fit together perfectly. Korea brings precision engineering, technology and financing, where Turkey brings the world-class construction skills, strong regional access, and deep on-the-ground experience. So we have already seen great examples of this. Just to name a few of them, for example, the 1915 Çanakkale Bridge, which is the world's longest suspension bridge, was built by a consortium of Turkish and Korean companies. Another important example is the Eurasia Tunnel, which connects the Bosporus of the Asian and the European side under the sea in Istanbul. And maybe one more to mention is the Yavuz Sultan Selim Bridge, which is also another major bridge that connects the two continents in Istanbul, which are all made by the Korean companies. So I believe that we'll see more of these collaborations, and not just inside Turkey, but also in other regions, other countries, in places such as the Middle East, Africa, and also the Central Asia as well.
Mm-hmm. So we will look forward to more collaboration in that area moving forward. Now let's shift a little bit to energy transition. Of course, we are aware that Turkey is preparing to host the COP31 in 2026, and it's rolling out its national hydrogen roadmap as well. What kind of opportunities do you see for Turkey and Korea to collaborate in terms of renewables?
Turkey is moving really fast in energy transition. We have a target about 120 gigawatts of installed capacity for solar and wind. And we also have a target for 7.5 gigawatts of battery storage systems, both for the year 2035. And at the same time, our government also focuses on expanding the YEKA projects. These are projects which designated special renewable energy zones, especially for wind and solar. And these are gigawatt scale large projects, which comes with some specific benefits, such as specifically designed investment incentives, long-term government purchases, as well as streamlined permitting procedures, etc., which makes this one of the most attractive frameworks in the whole region for energy investments. And on top of that, of course, as we know from yesterday's meetings, that the nuclear energy cooperation is another important cornerstone. We know that negotiations and works are going on between Turkey and Korea for the second nuclear power plant, which is the Sinop City project in Turkey. And also we have a long-term plan to also design and develop our own SMR, the small modular reactor technologies. And we know that Korea is also very advanced at that. So I believe that when you put it all together, the technology, the market, the scale, the geography, when you look at the whole picture, I think this is a win-win situation, both Turkey and Korea, that has a real depth and momentum.
Definitely. So this energy transaction sector, it also does feel like a space where both sides are moving fast, especially with COP31 arriving. Now, from your role leading Turkey's investment outreach in Korea, how would you describe Korean investors' current appetite for Turkey? And also, could you tell us what kind of sectors do you see the most traction or more potential?
There is a clear rise of interest from Korean investors in Turkey. So far, the total FDI stock from Korea to Turkey has surpassed $4 billion. And currently we have over 400 Korean companies that are actively operating in Turkey. And so these include, just to mention a few of them, investments from Korea to Turkey. Some big names such as Hyundai Motors, which established their first ever overseas factory in Turkey back in 1995. And ever since they've been expanding their investments in Turkey. And then also Samsung Electronics, which has a mobile phone factory and R&D center in Turkey. Other companies such as POSCO Steel, on the construction side, SK Ecoplant and Terim, as well as even CJ in entertainment. So we have many examples in a variety of industries from Korean investors, which all significantly contributed to Turkey's industrial base and exports. And now we are seeing, as I mentioned earlier, a move towards more advanced technologies rather than conventional areas. And just to name a few, again, Hyundai Motors is now planning on introducing a full electric vehicle production by next year in Turkey. Another big one is as President Lee mentioned yesterday in his speech in Turkey, the SK Plasma's plasma-based production partnership. It's a huge investment also, a very critical one in Turkey. So now from our side, of course, we prioritize technologies, investments that bring technology transfer, that bring R&D, that bring global reach, contributing to our exports. And Korea is exactly that kind of partner for us. So we expect that this momentum to continue between Turkey and Korea.
So we're definitely seeing a lot of Korean investment into Turkey. But the question is, what is it in for Turkey? Why do you think Turkey actually also sees Korea as a valuable economic partner? And also, how does that partnership actually matter in the Middle East, Europe, and Central Asia as well?
Turkey is Korea's one of most trusted and most forward-looking partners. We share not only a long-standing friendship based on mutual history, but also a mutual vision for advanced technology and sustainable growth. For Turkey, Korea represents a partner that has advanced capabilities in areas such as mobility, semiconductors, clean energy, digital transformation, and so on, which all perfectly align with our national transformation goals under the Vision 2053. And also our green growth strategies as well. So on top of that, Turkey also has a customs union with the EU, and also about over 30 free trade agreements with other countries, including one with South Korea, which provide seamless access for Korean companies into some of the world's largest markets, totaling up to a combined of about 1.5 billion consumers. So that makes Turkey not just a major trading partner for Korea, but also a strategic base for Korean companies that want to expand into countries in the region. So in that sense, I believe that we'll see more of these collaborations in the next phase of our relationship after this official visit.
Definitely. We will be looking forward to that. Now, let's take this into the multilateral space. So, as both members of the MICTA, how do you think Turkey and South Korea could work together, not only just by the two of them, just not only just bilaterally, but also with other mid-power sized economies to shape global trade and investment moving forward?
I think both Turkey and Korea has already shown that what true middle powers can achieve when they act with vision and independence. Turkey in particular, for example, has proven that being a middle power doesn't mean watching from the sidelines. It means taking bold initiatives, stepping up, building trust, and actually shaping outcomes on the ground. We have seen this with Turkey, as I mentioned earlier, in places such as Ukraine, Syria, Gaza, and all the other countries in the region. And as President Erdogan famously said in United Nations, the world is bigger than five, referring to the five permanent members, the veto power-holding members of the UN Security Council. And this exactly covers and shows how Turkey sees its role in the region. I say, moving beyond the few and shaping the many for a fairer world. And Korea, on the other side, on the other hand, also is showing what true middle power can do. Sending one of the largest troops to UN peacekeeping missions, playing a leading role in the establishment of the P4G green growth platform, and even becoming the largest foreign investor in the United States last year with over $21 billion committed in a single year. And I believe that's real power and real influence, which is also the kind of leadership that gains deep respect from countries around the world. And on the multilateral space, like platforms like MICTA, Turkey and Korea have the chance to not only act bilaterally, but also as agenda-setting middle powers. And whether it's reforming global supply chains, whether it's advancing in digital transformation, or opening new channels for investments in developing markets, whatever it is, I believe that we have the capacity to lead and connect. So this partnership between Turkey and Korea is not just about the two of us. It's about providing that confident, capable middle powers can actually lead with purpose in a changing global order.
Right, so let's hope for more of these proactive engagements from both sides moving forward. Now, Mr. Saran, you also serve as the board director of the Turkish Chamber of Commerce in Korea. I wonder, how are commercial ties actually between Korea and Turkish companies evolving, and how is the chamber actually working to shape those connections on the ground?
Commercial ties between commercial ties between Turkey and Korea is expanding rapidly and moving into new sectors every year. And to build on this momentum, actually, recently we established the Turkish Chamber of Commerce in Korea, shortly Turkchem Korea, to bring closer the business communities of both countries and contribute to the bilateral business and investment relations. And but I also have to mention that the trade balance between our countries remains largely in favor of Korea. We have a total about $11 billion of trade volume, about $10 billion of which is exports from Korea to Turkey, and only $1 billion from Turkey to Korea. So at Turkchem, that's why one of our main agenda is to increase Turkish exports to Korea, while encouraging more foreign direct investment from Korea to Turkey to bring a more balanced, more mutually beneficial relation. And just like other foreign chambers, we do this by organizing business networking events, joining exhibitions, and some business delegations also, connecting companies directly. And at the same time, we also act as a business feedback and a policy dialogue between the governments of two countries, as well as some NGOs and some sectoral associations, some local authorities as well. And even though Turkchem is still young, we are a growing organization, And I believe we already play a pivotal role in contributing to the bilateral relations between our countries. And I would like to warmly encourage any Korean companies that have interest in Turkey to connect with Turkcom and be a part of this growing partnership.
Right. Let's hope this partnership could also grow as a mutually beneficial one moving forward. Now, finally, before we let you go, we want to ask about your vision about, the Korea-Turkey economic cooperation in the coming 5 to even 10 years forward. What kind of sectors do you think or platforms could define the next chapter in its partnership?
Well, I believe looking ahead in the next 5 to 10 years, I think it will open a new chapter in Korea-Turkey relations, the one that will be centered in advanced technology, in clean energy, digital transformation, as well as next generation technologies. And at the same time, I want to mention that we also see great potential in startups and venture investments. As you know, some of the world's most valuable global companies today used to be just startups established just a few years ago. And when you look at Turkey's growing startup ecosystem, especially in areas such as fintech, gaming, and other deep tech areas, I believe that there are lots of opportunities for mutual growth between Korea and Turkey and for innovation, which actually was not much so far, performing much under our potential between our countries. From the perspective of Investment and Finance Office of Turkey, our focus is to create a more business-friendly environment and to allow Korean companies to have easy access to investment opportunities that our country represents with a very strong institutional support. And on the Turkcom Korea side, we will continue building these networks, continue facilitating cooperation, and expanding this partnership into new sectors as much as possible. So as a final note, I'm confident that the next phase of Turkey-Korea relations will be defined by even deeper economic integration, shared innovation, and will set the stage for long-term sustainable growth together.
Right, so we will look forward to a deeper and wider cooperation between the two countries moving forward. Mr. Saran, thank you so much for your insights and for your time tonight.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
And that'll be all from us on Within the Frame. Be sure to tune in again next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Until then, stay informed and engaged.